we're doing shoulders, but this is an abridged version. This is a 30-minute, easy-to-do shoulder routine that is all about giving you width. You can't get taller, but you can always get wider. Seriously, if you want to look better, you want your waist to look more narrow, and one of the ways to do that is to enhance the width of your shoulders. So I'm going to be playing the angles today. We're going to start with reverse work so I can get that rear delt, which is going to give me a lot more perimeter. And then I'm going to get into some lateral work that's going to give me a little bit more width. So we're doing an abridged shoulder day that is all about the angles. Exercise number 1 is going to be reverse flies, and I'm going to do some warm-up sets first. I like to do it from a seated position so I can really stabilize. I fully lengthen, I reach my wrist away from my body, then I pull. Reach, pull. And just to warm up here, 10 light reps. Look, the number one mistake people make when training their rear delts is they don't reach. You have to keep this wrist away from you the entire time. If I'm reaching, I can't get any further back than this. In order to reach any further, I actually have to retract my shoulder blades, which means my wrists have to come in as my shoulder blades squeeze. You don't want to do that if you want to grow rear delts. You want to reach the entire time through. So two warm-up sets of reverse flies, and then I'm gonna get into my working sets where I go really, really close to failure. Especially for shoulders, you wanna train very close to failure if you wanna get rounder shoulders and really make that waist look narrower. Okay, this is my second warm-up set of reverse flies. Oh. Typically what I do is I do a very light set for 10 reps, and then I do a second warm-up set for like 3 to 5 reps where I just get closer to the working weight. I usually start with 1/3 my weight for my first warm-up set. My second warm-up set is 2/3 my working weight. So I move up the entire time. So my first warm-up set today was with 20 pounds, second warm-up set now, 40 pounds, and then I'm gonna be working with around 60 pounds of tension when I go ahead and do these sets. So I wanna move up in increments that are more and more challenging. For my first movement here, I'm gonna be getting about 10 repetitions, that 8 to 10 rep range. People commonly think that with like reverse flies, with lateral raises, you have to go high reps. You do not have to go high reps. You can build muscle with 8 to 10 reps when doing lateral raises. You can build muscle when doing reverse flies with 8 to 10 reps. So I'm gonna really load up the weight here. I'm gonna really anchor in and really keep my wrists very long. I'm gonna take a 2-minute break, set by my watch, then we're gonna do our first working set of reverse flies. Okay, 2 warm-up sets complete. Now we're doing reverse flies, working weight. This is heavy. Big reach, pull. Key here again, full range of motion, being in control of the weight, making sure that I feel my rear delt, and week over week, striving to get stronger. You're not gonna move the weight up every single week, but week over week, the weight should be progressing and you should be getting stronger. While at the same time, doing full range of motion, while at the same time, feeling the intended muscle. That's what's key. I am only today going to do about 9 sets for shoulders. I wanna make every single round in the chamber, every single set count. So I wanna be in control of the weight, full range of motion, feel my rear delts. If I'm not feeling my rear delts, why am I even training? Well, the entire intention here is to grow my rear delts. I need to feel the intended muscle, and week over week, guys, you gotta get stronger. If you look at your training logs for the last 3 months and you're lifting the same amount of weight that you were 3 months ago, you're not training correctly. Either you're overtraining or you're not pushing yourself hard enough at the gym, okay? I'm gonna take a 2-minute break, and then I'm gonna hit this again. So third working set, one of the very important things here, guys, when you're training shoulders, don't shrug the entire time. If you say shrug, the entire time, it's really gonna limit your ability to get medial head and rear head up and down. So when I'm doing this, trying to keep protracted and not allowing myself to shrug up the entire time, packing down my shoulders, which is why I grab from an angle. Makes it way easier to keep my shoulders from shrugging when I'm pulling down at a slight angle. The rear delt also functions by coming down and out like this. So the higher up I can pull from at a good angle, the easier I can retract my scapula. Okay, here we go. Third working set. Reaching, not shrugging. All right, again, pulling all the way to failure, making sure that I'm feeling the intended muscle, going right to the brink. Those are the key takeaways. Full range of motion, feeling the intended muscle, going very close to failure when I'm doing all that. Next exercise, we're actually gonna do lateral raises with a cuff. Okay, so people ask me all the time, when you do warm-up sets, should you do a warm-up set for every single exercise? Not if it's a similar movement, like reverse flies, lateral raises, very similar, working very similar muscles. Rear delt, medial delt, they're all interconnected. You do not have to worry about warming up if I've already done one deltoid exercise. Here's something though, if I was doing like a quad exercise, right? If I started with hamstrings and I moved on to quad, I might need to do an exercise because there's a difference between hinging, which is hips, and flexion of the knees, like with quads. But with lateral movements like this, they're all so similar. Even overhead pressing, maybe I do one warm-up set prior to doing it because it's slightly different, right? It's not a lateral movement, it's an actual extension. I want to warm up my triceps and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'm good. So really the real major rule is it a distinctly different movement or a different muscle group? If it's not, then you don't need to do an additional warm-up set. So now we're doing lateral raises. I love to use the cuff because it really protects my forearm from having to grip. I start at pocket and I reach away. Oh, 15. Again, you do not need to do high reps to grow your shoulders. Everybody loves to do high reps for lateral raises, things like that. You can grow in the 6 to 8 rep range. You can grow in the 8 to 10 rep range. You can grow in the 10 to 15 rep range. You can grow in the 20 rep range. I typically like to keep my reps a little bit lower on my first movement and then move up. So I started lower on my reverse flies, and now I've got a little bit higher in repetitions with my lateral raises. Third working set of lateral raises. Again, keeping the theme going very close to failure. We've been getting just around 15 reps on these. Reach, under control as I come back. Oh. Right to the brink of failure, guys, on these reps. Take a little break, regain mental clarity, do the other side. Big reach, again, I'm really reaching my arm away from me. If I fully reach, I can't even get up that high. Just try to bring it to pocket, reach as far away from me as I can. Pocket, reach away. Because my key is, I do not want to shrug. I want to minimize my traps. I already have really big traps. If you want a crazy aesthetic physique, traps, some trap development's great, but in general, you want this because the wider this is, the more narrow this looks. The bigger the sweep here, the more narrow your waist looks. All right, 3 sets of reverse flies, 3 sets of lateral raises, 1 more exercise, upright rows with an easy bar. This is all we're doing today. Again, we're doing an abridged shoulder workout. Today's not about overhead pressing, it's about working all the angles so you can have a nice wide look, a really aesthetic physique. This is what I would do if I was doing a bridge shoulder workout and my emphasis was to grow these delts so I looked more aesthetic. Okay, exercise number 3, abridged, very aesthetic shoulder day, upright rows. There will be some trap in this movement, but there's still a lot of medial delt. So I'm gonna think about, I want an easy bar because of the wave of it, because of the way this will fit in my grip. It'll be way smoother on my wrist. The other thing you could do is grab a kettlebell because it'll grip like this. The straight bar, the second you have to get into that position, is gonna be really, really brutal on your wrist. If you look at this, if I take this, it's not natural. And so as I pull up, it's gonna put a lot of pressure on my shoulder, where if I could have my wrist like this, way easier. That I can do with an easy curl bar. So I'm gonna do upright rows with an easy curl because it's kind to my shoulders and it can really allow me to emphasize a lot of weight. I'm gonna do 8 to 10 reps again here. Hard pulls, close to failure again. Ugh. And I'm pulling my elbows apart and I'm pulling it to my chin. Oh, beautiful. Really quick workout today. About a 2-minute break on this. I've been taking 2-minute breaks between all my exercises. Okay, total shoulder day in under 30 minutes. Finishing up with my last set of upright rows. Whole point today was perimeter, right? Just widening, getting these shoulders to be nice and wide. And the key to that is getting your delts to be round. So you have to hit it from every single angle, from the back, from the side, to really grow that. You're gonna get plenty of front delt from pressing. A lot of times during my delt training, I do overhead pressing as well. Today I did not. Today I was training back earlier and I had the luxury of coming back here and doing shoulders later. And I wanted to give you guys an abridged shoulder workout. Maybe you're on vacation, maybe you're just, you don't feel like you want to train something else, you only have 30 minutes, you want to get in shoulders. This is what I would do if you had 30 minutes for an abridged shoulder workout. So, 3rd working set, upright rows. Again, every set near to failure. 1, 2, 3. And that is it. We did shoulders as a whole. 30 minutes here today. Again, full range of motion. Lifting the weight under control so that you feel the intended muscle group. 2-minute breaks in between each and every one. And when we get after it, we hit it really, really hard. That's how I would train shoulders for an aesthetic appearance. And again, bridge session here today, training shoulders. Really want to focus on working from the angles. Getting the rear delt, getting the medial delt, working at different angles. If I was gonna do an overhead press with this, I would do a neutral grip from a seated position, and that would get full range of everything for a full delt. If you did reverse flies, lateral raises, upright rows, and an overhead press, you'd absolutely crush your delts, and you can go move on with your day. Guys, thanks for joining me. If you like what you saw here, click subscribe. Hope you're following me on Instagram. That's where the majority of my following is. Thank you again. I appreciate you, and I do this so that you can learn how to train as a real person with a real life, real career, family, and you can do it in a sensible way, because for a lot of us, this isn't our full-time job going to the gym, but we care about how we look and we want to look aesthetic. So Aesthetic Shoulder Day, I'm Jacob Ziemer. Thanks for watching, guys.